But they tested positive for COVID-19. They had four players that were vaccinated that tested positive for COVID-19. So the NCAA said, hey, you guys cannot play because of XYZ. So, Tori, I want to kick it to you first. Do you think the NCAA was right by kicking out NC State of the College World Series?
Yes. And I'm going to say, because if it is the variant and you had 4 players, they are doing it overall for the greater good. They are trying to not let it spread to everybody. And, we're just coming out of this thing. Like, we were finally like, oh, let's, I can go out to eat someplace and sit there and enjoy life again. So I think, yes, they're doing the right thing by trying to protect everybody else. Is it awful for them kids on the team? 110%. Yes, it is. It's sad to see, especially for them, because they were a favorite to win it all. So they now get that taken away from them. But a couple people came into contact with whoever, and that's the way it is. I'm okay with it because overall it's for the greater good.
I will save my comments till the very end because you are absolutely wrong on that, Tori Anderson. But Wyatt, what are your thoughts on that?
It goes back to the old saying, money talks and everything else walks. Vanderbilt is a storied baseball program. NC State, I don't even believe, has ever even made it this far into the College World Series playoffs.
No, that was South Carolina. I'm sorry. Never mind. I digress.
No, so NC State's never even made it this far. And at the end of the day, the NCAA is always going to want their blue chip in. We saw it with Michigan State sliding in at the very end for the bracket. We saw it with Ohio State making it. Now we've seen it with Vandy. At the end of the day, money talks and everything else walks. It's that simple. And that's the way it always has been. It's a business before everything else. And that's the way it always will be. I personally don't think it's right. I absolutely think NC State deserved to at least get a shot at it to get in. But at the end of the day, it goes back to the old saying, money talks and everything else walks.
I think you refer to bullshit walks. I
am.
With that being said, Wyatt, you are absolutely spot on. The NCAA is $1 billion company. They profit $1 billion, over $1 billion every season. And guess what? The student athletes make zero of that. So we digress on that a little bit. But here is the issue that I have with this. Omaha was packed full in the stands, right? They were at capacity, 100% capacity. No fans were wearing masks. No umpires were wearing masks. No broadcasters were wearing masks. They weren't testing people as they were coming into the stands, whatever. But yet you have four players that test positive after they've had the COVID vaccine, which I believe they said if you have the vaccine and you test positive, it's kind of like a false positive type thing. But I don't know the science behind it because I'm not Bill Nye. But with that being said, how can you allow 100% capacity, no mask, no any types of testing before you get into the stadium, but yet you're going to make a team like NC State that had every right to be there, that did nothing wrong throughout the whole season, and they happen to have 4 guys test positive? How is that right? I mean, like, seriously, like, how is that right at all? If you want to penalize a team for getting COVID, you should have had fans wearing masks. You should have been limited capacity. You should have been the six feet apart. Basically, this is NCAA trying to flex their muscle a little bit. That's basically what it is. Just because
flexing their money.
Yeah. So yeah, like for NC State to be kicked out of the College World Series. Well, first of all, they played a game with just 13 players after these guys tested positive. And I believe they lost that game. And then the elimination game, or they won that game.
No, they lost 3-1.
Okay.
I was just saying that.
Oh, okay. But then the very next game, they were going to play with the same 13 players, but they're like, no, you guys can't play now. It makes absolutely zero sense to me, guys. 0 cents. Tori, any follow up on that?
Yeah, the thing is if the other 13, like if they would have monitored them and let them go, like if they were showing no signs, they basically just test them every 24 hours to see if there's any more positives. If there's no more positives, I think they should have let them continue to play. because there again, the unknowns is what ends up dominating that. Because if it is the variant, we don't know. No, there's so many unknowns with a lot of it still. So I think they're gonna err on the side of caution.
So how do they know that offended
than
him?
anything else?
How do they know that offended him? Bring it in.
There again, 2 weeks from now, we could be talking about there was a mass outbreak at the College World Series.
Yeah.
Who knows? We don't know.